So, welcome to the Writer's Mindset series, and with myself, Yvonne Redden. And today I'm speaking with author Carolann Copland. And thank you for joining me today, Carolann. How are you?
Hi, Yvonne. Thank you very much for having me. It's great to chat about all things booky and writerly.
Yes, exactly. So, I suppose can you tell the audience here a little summary about your writing background, and how many books you've published as well?
Okay, I came to writing, some would say quite late, sort of into my 40s. I think I was nearly 50 before I published my first book. And then I went on to publish two more. So I have three books that are a trilogy, but can stand alone as standalone reads. So they're
Mm.
mostly set amongst the same characters, and they have background themes such as Islamic fundamentalism in the first one, the IRA is in the background of the second one, and Franco's civil wars in the background of the third one. So they are
Yeah.
a little bit that way, but they're also quite romantic and family relationships and basically extraordinary things happening to very ordinary people. So
And
that's
and
my what I write about.
yeah, and what kind of genre would you put your writing in?
It's hard to put it into a genre, and that's why I think I ended up independently publishing
Yeah.
books because, when I first started writing, Penguin immediately took my book on and for 1 year kind of played around with it and sat on it and said, we're going to publish this book. And then suddenly at the end of 1 year, something else came along and similar kind of subject. And they said, it's your genre. It's kind of contemporary fiction, historical fiction mixed. It's, a little bit of thriller. It's, so what shelf would we put you on? And I think, independent publishing, I'm not blowing my own trumpet with this, but I think in general, it can be very
Mm.
original and very brave. And when people who end up independently publishing, it's because they have something a little bit different. So I would, if anybody insists, I say the genre, I will say contemporary dash historical fiction. But so the three books that I wrote before are quite different to what I'm writing now. Now I'm writing um, uh, historical fiction, contemporary fiction mixed, going back in time to the 1940s, right up to the present time, set between India and the UK. So it's got an international flavor. I do like to write with an international flavor for all my books, but this is the first time I've gone as far as India. So it's quite different again. And, it's a book about, set about around my mother-in-law's life. She was Indian. She grew up in Calcutta, and the backdrop of a friendship between herself and another woman. And so that's my present book, my present write.
Yeah.
And when I started writing first, I was I went to so many creative writing workshops,
Mm.
classes. That was my big thing, going, and ended up facilitating creative writing workshops, which is what I do a lot now. That's
Yeah.
the basis of what I do around my writing is facilitating other writers and writing groups. So I really enjoy that. So around writing, everything I do at the moment is around writing. When I started writing first, I was teaching full time. I'm a primary school teacher. And just as I came up to my 50th birthday, I had an accident at school. And since then, I have never been able to go back into the classroom and never been able to teach again. So writing had to become, I was very lucky that I had writing to fall back on. Writing became my career, and it's what I do now. And everything I do seems to be centered around writing. At the moment, I'm organizing a writers' literary festival in my hometown this year. And so I have my books, my writing. I'm doing a master's in creative writing. Again, it was
Mm.
something I started applying for 10 years ago, but I haven't physically been able to do that with major operations
Yeah.
over the years. So now I'm able to
So
do
now
that.
I'm able to.
So I'm doing all
Yeah.
this again now.
It seems to be your passion, all right. It's,
Absolutely.
sometimes like it's just in you, isn't it? I think for me, I always wondered whether you were born with that gift for writing and storytelling, or can you learn it? Can it be a learned thing? Well, what do you think?
I used to say, no, this is something that can definitely be learned. But I think if you have the passion for it and the passion for learning. I've just had lunch today with a man who's 80, and he was talking about the more I learn, the less I know. And I feel that about writing. The more I'm learning with my masters and with creative writing, I still go to creative writing workshops myself as well as facilitating for others. So I'm constantly learning about the art of writing, and I couldn't learn enough. At university and masters this year, we had Paul Lynch um, facilitating our workshops, and I learned so much from this man. There's not enough you
Well,
could
the
learn
Booker
from
Prize winner, isn't
Booker
he?
Prize winner.
Yeah,
So you're constantly learning about writing, but I think it really helps to have it in you. I
yeah,
also run writing workshops, writing for well-being workshops, and they're not really with writers as such. They're with people who have mental health problems, chronic pain, bereavement, just people who just need to sit down and write. So they're kind of my favorite workshops to run. Always get so much out of that. So yeah, that's
lots of nice
my
stories there.
writing.
So tell me why did you go down? I know you mentioned Penguin earlier. How did you find going down the indie publishing route?
Really hard.
Mm.
But it was,
Difficult, isn't it? It's
it's
challenging.
still difficult. When I started, I don't think it was as hard. It was just a different way of doing things. And I loved the idea that you were on top of everything yourself. You had great
Yeah.
control over everything. And it was a way of sort of saying, this is my book. It's been edited by a professional editor. It's got a professional cover designer. It's got everything that a traditionally published book would have. It's a very good story, well told. There you go.
Yeah.
World have that. The media would take it on. Bookshops would take it in. It was easier. My first book was published in 2013, so it's 11 years ago. The second book still easy enough with getting your book out there, libraries, all that kind of thing. People treated you as a published author, and
Yeah.
as long as you were dishing out the goods, basically. Um, in the end of 22, so just a year ago, just over a year ago, I published my third book because I had a big gap between the second
Mhm.
and third because of the accident and because of all the things that happened physically. So there was a big gap, and I found, wow, the difference in independently publishing now to back 10 years ago. There's just such it's the media
In what
don't
way? Like what was the biggest thing you noticed
you
that
send
was
out
different?
send out a press release about your book to the media, and you get a blanket of silence. And sending it to bookshops, they're not allowed to take on self-published, independently published books anymore. Even independent bookshops, are some will do it because they just want to. It's something that they feel passionately about, but it's really hard to get your book out. So
Yeah.
there's other ways of selling your book. I mean, I sell most of my books on my own website myself through my own website. Then there's organizations like buythebook.ie, which is an online shop. Some online places like kenny's.ie in Galway will take your book and
Yeah.
sell it, but mostly it's you selling
Yeah.
yourself. So I think there was a time where independent publishing was a little bit different and out there, and everybody was saying, "Oh yeah, let's have a look at that." And now, is it because the the market is awash,
Huge.
huge,
Yeah.
awash with self-published books? It has become easier. It's still a difficult way to go, but it's difficult to sell onwards afterwards. I find it's harder now than
Yeah.
it was 10 years ago. Um,
But I think you can tell, I know like self-published writers have that, there is a snobbery behind it that our work isn't good enough, isn't as good as. But I think you can really tell the books and the authors who invest in their books and,
yes.
get the lovely cover. Sometimes it's quite hard to tell the difference between the traditional books that are in the bookshops in the windows and a self-published book, if they have done it right and if they've invested in it. And I think that's the trick for any new authors out there. Really invest, a
When
good
you when you say
proofreader,
when you
all
say
that.
invest, it
Yeah,
isn't just about investing the money, it is, but it is expensive to get an editor. It is
yeah,
expensive to get a cover designer. It's a much cheaper option, obviously, for people to say, well, I've written the book and I just want to put it out there. And
yeah,
those books, if they don't have a good editor, if they don't have a proper cover designer, they scream independently published books, or should I say
yeah,
vanity published book, that old-fashioned term.
yeah.
And yeah, so it's really, really important to
Mm,
get it right, get it absolutely right. If a traditionally published book goes out with 50 typos in the book, if it's a good, if it's an author who's well known, most people are going to just say nothing about it and just read it and say,
exactly.
"Oh,
Yeah,
wasn't that wonderful?" If an independently published book goes out with two typos, you're in big trouble.
completely different. Yeah, I
It's
know. It's
completely
crazy.
different.
Yeah,
You have to get it absolutely right.
yeah,
You have to get your blurb super duper on the back. You have to get, your title has to be very, very catchy, really, connect with your story. Your cover has to connect with your story, has to connect with your genre. I hate going
yeah.
back to that word, but it is important. It has to
And the
connect
cover,
with who that you are,
a
they
nice
really
cover as well.
covers.
There's a lot of research involved, isn't there, Carolan? And I think the biggest thing of all for being an author, whether you're traditional or indie, is being able to use social media well, because that's how you market and promote your book. But I know, and I think people get their books done and they're finished, and then they go, okay, well, how can I sell it? Social media is such a huge part of the after, the post book.
You're wonderful at that, Yvonne. And
I
I
love
just
it though. Not everyone
not.
loves it though,
I
Carolan.
don't love it. And my children tell me that I have, what do they call it? Techlexia. And I just say, Mom,
Love that.
give it here, Mom. What are you doing? You're posting stuff upside down and backwards, and you're putting out all the wrong things on the wrong days and the wrong times. And I know I don't. I'm not technically minded, and I do love social media. Having said that, I love Facebook and Instagram and all that, but I'm just not good at it, and I'm not great at marketing my book in general. My sister
Yeah.
has just
This is where
published a
you
book.
can hire people as
She's
well though.
fabulous. Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
think I need a PA. And
Yeah.
if selling books was very lucrative, then we could have hired
Well,
PAs.
this is it. We're not in it to make any money, that's for sure. Carol
Yeah,
Ann, sure we're not.
yeah.
But
No,
listen, from all this and from your experience, you've set up and you founded the CAP Awards. So
I
let's
did.
share a little bit about that because this is running now. Let me just a brief summary of when it started, and because I know it started and then it stopped for a little while, didn't it?
It started in 2016,
Yeah,
and it started because really I had just published my second book, and I felt that, independent publishing in Ireland needed a platform of some sort. So traditional publishing have got the Irish Book Awards, the An Post Book Awards,
yeah,
and independent publishing did not have a platform like that. And, I wanted to come away from this stigma of independent publishing being um, a vanity publishing thing. And I wanted people to sort of look at it and say, yes, there are some books that make it out there and they're not great and they're not well done. But there are so many that are so
that
brilliant,
are.
that are
Mm,
really, really well done. And just bringing that cream of Irish independent publishing to the top of
yeah,
and that's what I wanted to do with the CAP Awards. Also, I was post-operative, sort of flat on my back, not able to move. And it gave me a project, something that I could really get my teeth
keep going.
into.
Yeah,
And for
yeah,
the first time in a long time, I had kind of time to put into
yeah,
something like that. The other reason I did it was I work a lot with the charity Aware. When I say I work a lot with them, I use the charity Aware and all their programs an awful lot within my family. My two daughters suffer quite badly with their mental health. They've been hospitalized in St. John of God and St. Pat's many times, and Aware have been absolutely fantastic. So I decided it was something that was going to be a fundraiser for Aware as well as
yeah,
being a book award. So putting
yeah,
the two things together, two passions, books and giving something back to Aware,
yeah,
who had helped,
yeah,
who's continue to help our family and other families
yeah.
like us so much. That there's not enough coming from the state for mental health.
I know.
We all know
Yeah,
that. And we're really reliant on places like Aware to give us the help that we need,
Support.
and
Yeah.
they can't do it without funding. So, and that's why I decided to put the two things together and set up the Carousel Writers is the name of my writers company. So it was the Carousel Aware Prize for Independent
Right.
Authors. Then it
Yeah.
became as the Carousel Aware Prize became known as the CAP. So it's
Yeah.
called awards in general now.
Yeah. And this is the second was so 2016, and it's been running now. It stopped, I suppose, when COVID happened and all that kind of. So
Yeah,
there was a bit of a
it's
quiet spell then, but
yeah.
last year was a big one, big year as well when it
Last year
restarted
it
again,
started
wasn't
up
it?
and it restarted, and
Yeah.
it started up with a bang, and we had
Yeah.
some fantastic judges and sponsors, and it was a
Yeah.
real blast back into the CAP Awards. And this year it's even bigger and better. Again, different judges, different sponsors, and
Yeah.
really, really coming. The submissions are coming in fast and furious. So
Great. And
great.
always looking for sponsors, aren't you, Carolann? If anyone out there would like to
Knocking,
sponsor it,
knocking on everybody's door. Hello.
yeah, anyone who'd
So
like to offer anything would be great.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We have sponsors for the individual categories at the moment, but we are looking
Yeah.
for an overall sponsor for the event of the award ceremony. We had a big sponsor last year, and we're looking for another sponsor. So hopefully each year we'll get somebody that will give us that sponsorship money
Okay. Yeah.
to to get it up.
Let's get that out there, please. Anyone is
Yeah,
watching this, contact
sponsorship,
Carolann.
and like
And we
people
have a lovely
over the
venue
years.
this year, haven't you, Carolann? You've got a great place for the awards this
We're
year as
going to
well.
have our awards in Chapters Bookshop in Parnell Square, which
Amazing.
is really, really fantastic. They're brilliant at they've been offering to give us their venue, so it'll
Yeah.
be a fantastic night. We've also this year got not just sponsorship, but we've got some backing from some wonderful people this year. And our patron for the CAP Awards is Paul Lynch, who is the Booker Prize winner.
Amazing.
So, you were
Mm.
talking about, independently published writing being accepted and being, encouraged for being the
Recognized. Yeah.
recognized. It's original. The writing is brave. It's different. And Paul Lynch recognizes that, and he wants to be the patron of the CAP Awards this year. So yeah, it's great to have him on board.
Amazing. And when is the submissions closed, Carolann?
So we opened on was it the 4th of
March?
March?
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
so. Yeah.
The
About two
submission.
weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, about that. The submissions close on the 6th of May. So it gives everybody
Okay.
so it's about 5 weeks left,
Okay.
approximately.
So we're
Um,
grand. I'll put the link in with the post and for people that are
yeah,
interested because there's lots of people out there with manuscripts in their drawers that just lie there. Now's your chance. If it's all
absolutely.
finished and ready, they can submit. And there's quite a few different categories, isn't there, Caroline? There's five, isn't there?
There are 5 categories. So we have children's categories and fiction or adult
Yeah.
fiction, non-fiction,
Okay.
anthologies, book cover. I like
Yeah.
the idea of the book cover being important. Um,
Yeah.
and we have wonderful judges, so we have an artist judging the book cover, and various people doing their own thing. Lisa Harding is judging fiction, and
Yeah.
we just have really the judges are fantastic this year, really doing a great job.
Brilliant. Yeah. Great range. Kathy Donny, Deborah Donnelly,
Yeah,
brilliant
yeah.
judges.
Uh-huh.
That's wonderful. And is there anything else that people need to know about the awards? All proceeds go to Aware. You've said that.
Everything goes to Aware. Everybody
Yeah,
who's working on the CAP Awards are bullied into doing it for nothing.
I
Like,
know.
there is, that, Yvonne. There's no other word for it.
It's not being bullied. We like doing it. We like helping out because we believe in this as well, especially
because
when we know what it's like.
I really push. I don't want to pay for anything because I'm stingy. No, I want every single cent from the submissions to go to Aware. Every single cent from the sponsorship to go to Aware. I want everything. It encourages people. So we had people last year who gave anonymous, who don't want to give their name for sponsorship, but they've given hundreds and hundreds of euro to sponsor the CAP Awards so it will go to Aware.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people are really, really good like that. Some people have sponsored in past submissions. So people who want to submit and can't afford to submit, there is funding there from anonymous sponsors,
Oh, great,
anonymous
right.
funders who will pay that
Yeah.
40 euro
40
submission
euro, is it? Yeah, for application.
for
Okay.
submission. Mhm.
Great. Well, look at Caroline. I'm sure there'll be lots more submissions now after people see this and see the value of it. You know, I'm always going on about self-publishing on in my posts on social media because it's just getting the recognition for all the hard work that we put in. And we love our books and we believe in them. So, and there's a market, competition is good for every author, there's
Absolutely.
room for everybody, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. And the people in the past who have been shortlisted, longlisted, winners of the CAP Awards have gone on to do really, really well
Yeah.
in their writing careers. So it's wonderful to see that
Mm.
the award is making a big difference to
Mm.
people's careers, when they start off as an independently published author and they go out there and the world is their oyster once they get that
And they do
little
really
CAP
well.
sticker
Yeah,
on their book.
exactly. So that's brilliant. So there's lots of info there. Thanks very much for your time and sharing all about the
Very
CAP
much
Awards
for
and your career as well. And I will post all the details above below this video as well. Caroline, thank you so much for all your work that you're doing as well. Your
very much.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.